Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. I cannot be the only one who feels that this week between Christmas and New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, whichever one you like more than the other, I feel like it's a dead week. Like I have had just kind of like, not withdrawals, but my energy levels are much lower than they were at the beginning of December. I just feel that this week is the week for rest, okay? The week for rotting, the week to prepare before the New Year's. I personally love New Year's, okay? It is one of my very, very favorite holidays, if you could count it as a holiday. I like that it's a reset button on everything. There's so much anticipation and some, just good energy around the new year. I am sad to leave 2023, behind. She's done her due diligence. I've learned so much this past year, but I can't bring myself to really start thinking about my goals or intentions for the new year yet. Because I am just reeling from the holidays and from getting through Vlogmas and from all of the events that we had. And my energy levels have been very, very low. Not like, I could find it if I wanted to, but it's more like, all right, let's reset. Let's recalibrate before we go balls to the wall for the new year. I love goals. I love to focus on the things that I want to achieve and do, but I just can't bring myself yet to do it. I know that come Sunday, I will have an epiphany of all the things I want to do, or even Saturday. And I'm not sure what your New Year's Eve plans entail, but for me, I really want to start the new year off like at the jump, right? Like I don't want to be hungover. I don't want to have a lack of sleep. I usually stay up until midnight, but I'm out. I'm going to bed, and it's not uncommon for me to do a lot of planning on the day of Sunday, or even come Monday, or New Year's Day. Like just taking the time to think about my goals, think about my intentions. Anybody who says that they need like a month or weeks to plan for something, they're really just procrastinating, right? Like we can make decisions so quickly in a short amount of time. So for me, I want to be able to condense down the decision-making time. And I don't have to plan out for a year or even 6 months. Like I can take it as it comes. But one thing that I have been able to focus on is the things that I want to leave in 2023. The things that I, had intentions on leaving in 22, but they kind of stuck with me as bad habits do. And I really want 2024 to be better than 2023. 2023 was so good to me. I feel like this was a year that I'm finally like rebounding from, post-grad and just trying to figure out what I want to do with my life, who I want to be. And I feel like I'm finally finding some direction, especially if you've listened to the Halloween episode, I'm gaining my course. I'm finding due north, okay? And I was like, all right, I was just thinking today at my computer, what are some of the things that I know that I don't want to do? Because like I said, I was struggling with my goals, with my aspirations, what I was wanting to accomplish in this upcoming year. And the first thing that I wrote down was self-doubt. And we all doubt ourselves at one time or another, right? And this doesn't creep up often, but when it does, I feel like it completely inhibits me to act, right? Like I'm doubting myself. I'm doubting how I could possibly be moving forward. I'm doubting my, intention. I'm doubting how I can actually follow through with this, or if I'm good enough. We've all felt these feelings before. And I really just want to leave self-doubt in 2023. And I've always found when I've pushed the boundaries, when I said no to, doubting myself, and I was like, no, second voice in my head, you have it wrong. I know I can do this. I know I can succeed. I've always proven myself right. And whenever I've thought, oh, like you can't do this, I've also proven myself right. And I don't want to hold on to self-doubt at all. I'm just like, you know what? What if we could? What if we did? What if we didn't self-doubt? What if we did accomplish what we want wanting to do, right? And this mindset shift is so hard, right? Like when you're telling that voice in your head who is second guessing everything, who's tearing you down, to say, hey, hold up, that doesn't align with my goals, right? I can't be dragged down by that sort of negative self-talk or that sort of low energy vibe, right? Like I want to believe in myself. I want to have the same delusional thoughts that my parents did when I was a young kid and even now as an adult, right? Like I can do anything I put my mind to. If I try, I will succeed, right? Like that pure love that your parents have for you, and they're like, or your grandmother, or someone who has believed in you so much, like throughout your entire life. It might be a different person for you than it is for me, but just that intuition of, okay, how can I love myself as they loved me, right? Like how can I believe in myself like that first grade teacher did, or that my grandmother or my aunt or my uncle or whoever believed in you? How can I take that energy or that belief, and how can I replicate it? How can I make that my own and believe in myself? So self-doubt, number one, and leaving that in the past. And it's no good, right? Like nobody wants to be doubted, and sometimes believing is halfway there to achieving your goal. If you can believe that you can achieve it, okay, like we already have the mindset shift. We are already on track to actually achieving it and doing it. The second one that I am leaving in 2023 is one-sided friendships or relationships. I was learning about this thing. I saw it on social media, I can't remember which one, but it was talking about soul contracts and how you might have had a friend or a relationship, and in the moment it was amazing. You were thinking, this is my person, they're so good, they're like just light your light up, light your life, not light your life, whatever. They're just, they get you, right? And then suddenly, or after some time, that friendship becomes toxic and you feel like you're doing the same things that you did before, but maybe something happens, maybe something intervenes in your relationship, you have a fight, or you're no longer aligned. This happens. And the idea of a soul contract is a relationship only becomes toxic after it's reached the point where it was supposed to have ended, right? Like, and friendships are sometimes meant for a certain period of your life to point you in the right direction, to connect you to another person, or to help you along in this moment in time, right? Hey, I hope that you're enjoying today's podcast episode. Just a quick interruption to let you know that Golden Hour Drip has a weekly newsletter that comes out. This has bonus content, weekly updates, and future event information. If you haven't already, go down to the show notes, click the link, and join today. Now, back to the show. And if we extend or we go past that soul contract where we no longer need this person, or maybe we're no longer benefiting them, they're not benefiting us, it's just this sort of limbo where one of you or both of you are holding each other back. You can no longer grow, you can no longer move past this friendship. You've are started in a direction that maybe this friend or this relationship is not going to join you on. And this tension or this time where you are taking your path and they're needing to take theirs, this place of transition that's where the heartache can be, right? Like that's where the sadness or the emotions of, oh my gosh, like I'm losing my friend, or maybe they're accelerating faster than you and they're moving on their new journey and their new direction, and you know that that's not the journey or the direction for you. You feel a little left behind, maybe because your journey hasn't started yet. I just love the concept of a soul contract and not being sad because the friendship has ended, right? Because there's been so many friends that I have grown away from, that I no longer talk to on a daily basis. We're still friendly, or we might not be friendly at all, but instead of mourning the relationship and thinking, oh my gosh, that's so sad, I wish we could go back. And there's nothing wrong with wishing you were back at that certain time period of your life, but to think, hey, like our soul contract was up, and maybe we'll get a new one in the future. Maybe our paths will align and we'll become friends again. But if you just think of it as, okay, I needed that friend for that certain point in my life, I needed them for this time, and now that time is over, it helps you not make them the villain, and it helps you kind of grasp the idea of, I'm moving in another direction. I need to open up my relationships, open up, the space that you were instead holding on for this friend or relationship that was no longer serving you or just holding you back. Now you're able to open it up for that new friend or that right relationship that is going to be, your end game or a longer soul contract, or that person is going to lead you to the next person that you need to meet to, progress in your life and land that dream job or get that promotion or even develop as the person that you're meant to be. So I just love this concept of, hey, like our soul contract is over. I don't have any ill feelings towards you, and I'm ready to head on to my next direction. I'm wishing you all the best. And shifting your mindset in this way can really alleviate any of those sad feelings of, oh gosh, like what did I do? They're a bad friend, or maybe I'm being a bad friend. It releases all of those negative feelings towards it, and just thinking, hey, like I appreciated it and I really valued our friendship, but now we're headed into different directions. And instead of forcing that friendship and trying so hard to, make the plans, or to really try and reach out and get your feelings hurt because they don't want to reach out, they don't want to hang out with you, they're not making the time for you, or maybe you're not aligned with their feelings or visions or how they're directing their life, right? And so it just releases all of those feelings, and it's just a really nice way to say, hey, like we grew apart. I'm no longer in that space and time where I needed this friend, right? And I've been loving that. So we are leaving any sort of one-sided relationship or bad friend, and not necessarily a bad friend, right? Like we might have just exceeded our friend contract, and that's why, it's becoming toxic, right? So just releasing any friend that is, or relationship that is not in my life, and welcoming the new connections and relationships that are on their way to me. The third one is people pleasing. I tried so hard. 2023, I have completely disconnected from people pleasing, and I never say I am a people pleaser. I have completely eliminated that from my vocabulary in the year 2023, but I am going to continue with avoiding people pleasing tendencies and speaking out for what I want and where I'm going. Your dream life is on the other side of a hard conversation. So if you are saying yes to the things that you don't really want to do because you're afraid to hurt that other person's feelings, or you're trying to serve them in a way, it's doing a disservice to you, and you're going to feel that resentment. So if you can release the people-pleasing tendencies of, oh, how are they going to feel? How are they going to react? Instead, it's, how do I feel about this? How am I reacting? What direction do I want to go in? And it has just opened up so many opportunities for me that instead of saying yes because I don't want to hurt someone's feelings, honoring myself and having a higher regard for myself than someone who would not do the same for me, right? Because anybody who wants the best for you wants you to say yes when you mean it and say no when you don't want it, right? And anybody who is going to get angry at you for making the decision that is right for you was not meant for your life, was not meant for your journey. Sometimes you are going to have a villain in your story, or they're going to be viewed as, or they'll view you as a villain in their story. That is perfectly fine. But people pleasing is just a dead end road. I know everything that I say yes to, I'm saying no to the thing that I actually want. And like I said, I'm releasing friendships and relationships that don't serve me. And that goes hand in hand with people pleasing and trying to hold on to something that no longer serves me. The fourth one is being scared. This is being scared of your dreams, being scared to take the first step, being scared to love and be hurt. Anything that is holding you back or holding me back from my dreams and aspirations, what would it be or feel like if I didn't let that scarcity mindset hold me back? If I stepped out in faith, right? And there's going to be times where we're going to feel scared, but to push past that feeling and chase after what we want, and to, instead of choosing to just be like, oh my gosh, frozen in fear, right? Like we're going to push past that. We're going to take action. Right or wrong, we're making a decision because there's no wrong answers. There's no wrong choices. We are going to push past, and whatever, decision we've made, it's going to take us on the path that we're needing to take. So instead of being scared, we're just going to be courageous. I'm going to take the chances and not worry about if I am making the wrong mistake, right? Because being scared is really, oh my gosh, like, should I do this or should I not do this? If I do this, like, I might embarrass myself. And that goes back to self-doubt. So I'm not going to be scared anymore. I'm going to go after what I want. I'm going to show up as who I am, because really and truly, we are on a floating earth, right? In space. We only get one life to live. So you might as well act out in courage, go after what you want, and stop staying so small and so scared. Let your light shine and chase after your dreams. And the fifth one is perfectionism. I truly believe that perfectionism kills more dreams than anything else. Waiting to be perfect, waiting for everything to come in alignment. Sometimes you have to do some trial and errors. You have to stick your neck out. You have to not be afraid of embarrassment, not be afraid of trying. I think perfectionism really stems from not making a mistake. It's how we want other people to perceive us as, oh, they're perfect, they do everything right, in comparison to, oh, they're a human being. They're trying to make their way in this world. And instead of getting so caught up in making sure all the pieces align, making sure I look perfect, making sure everything is just right and good, instead I'm going to show up. I'm going to put the pieces together as quickly as I can, and I'll readjust and recalibrate on the way. I have found the times where I've thrown something up and then adjusted later, that's when I've had the most success. That is when I was able to grab a little bit of what I've learned here and there and use it for the next challenge in front of me. So instead of just waiting to be perfect, not having the fear of trying, not having the fear of how I'm going to show up to other people, but instead chasing after what I want, even if it's messy, even if it is the wrong thing in that time. Because when I'm doing that thing, I think it's the right thing, right? Like, I think that this will make it perfect. And It might not be perfect. It might then lead me to the next path and to the next thing. But then I think that was meant to be like that. And I'm gathering intel and I'm gathering skills and I'm gathering all of the right answers while I'm making the wrong choices, right? And I can apply that to the next situation in my life. So those are the 5 things that I'm leaving behind in 2023. Self-doubt, one-sided friendships, people-pleasing, being scared, and perfectionism. If you align with any of these, shoot me a DM on which one you're leaving behind. I would love to hear it. As we go into the new year, I am always welcoming feedback. I would love to hear what you have to say. There are a couple changes coming to the Golden Hour Drip podcast. I am so excited for them. I'm a little scared, but we're not afraid of, trying, or we're not trying to be perfect. We're trying to be real, trying to put it up there and recalibrating. So I'm very excited for 2024, and I can't wait for you to listen to the first episode of the new season. And thank you so much for listening to this one. Be sure to subscribe and give a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.